So then, The Promised Neverland, episode 12, 15:01:46. Good, yeah. I could put some wacky edit, Matt. Put a wacky edit. Ooh, that's so wacky. Stop it now. Let's get real. It was good. Yeah, it was a good ending. I was satisfied watching it. Like there was things I enjoyed, and there was things I enjoyed. So yeah, let's just start talking about it. So first of all, obviously Phil, who I was like, Phil has let down the side, is actually not letting down the side at all. He's leading the side, and I would have. Right, just quickly, Satsuki, if you ever watch this, first of all, go subscribe to Satsuki. He does a lot of good YouTube stuff. He makes a lot of anime videos. He's good. You beat me to my own joke. I know about that Disney Channel. I know about Phil of the Future. No, I'm going. You beat me to it. I guess technically it's not my joke. Technically it's Disney Channel's joke, but I was genuinely going to do a Phil of the Future bit as an intro, and then I watched yours, and now. Fair play, that's why you should go support Satsuki, because he's ahead of me and better than me in almost every way. Any case, so we get the reveal that basically all kids under 4 are staying at the house. They are not leaving the site because looking after this many kids, and it was a real turmoil for them, because obviously Emma wants them all to leave, but more importantly, she wants them all to remain safe. That's her priority. That's why she wanted them to leave, so she could keep them safe. And of course, Don and Gilda are of two minds, and they're the two sides of Emma, and that's shown really well too, is obviously like Gilda is like, I don't want to leave these kids here if they're going to die. And then Don's like, but can we manage them? Can we look after these kids properly? Because there's babies there, there's babies to 4-year-olds there, and can we properly look after them? I don't know. And eventually, Emma calls in my man Phil, and Phil actually is already kind of ahead of it. Like, he doesn't get everything that goes on, of course, but he at least like, yeah, something didn't seem right for a while, and he handles it like a champ. Like that news, like he's like it's like he's smart, but he's still a kid. So I just love that reveal, of course, like of how he's like, oh well, yeah, I could tell something was up because of obviously like the way you and Norman had been around Mom ever since Norman left. Since you and Ray had been around Mom since Norman left, and then but it's still like the heartbreaking news that, like, you know, that his mom is actually not on his side, and all the kids like that he knows have died, and it breaks him, and he starts crying, and then like that was nice. But then of course they have this conversation where like Emma has set time limit, because time is so important throughout this series, and we know this because literally the titles of these episodes are the dates. Time is a very crucial element of this series, because obviously first of all it's a breakout. Right, it's an escape. So first, like, dates are important there, and they haven't lost that goal. And I love that there's still that time is still a necessary factor for this story. So as we learn, basically they came up with two ultimatums. Either like they got Phil's opinion on it, and Phil was like, go, get out of here, we'll be fine. Because Emma points out very clearly and very cleverly that, you know, well, first of all, you don't need to, like, you guys will be safe for a couple more years because you were at least 6 until. You do that until you do get sent out, and the 4-year-olds who are there still all get good grades, so they're not going to send you out straight away because they want you to be at their best when you do send out. But at the very least, she does say, you know, we will be back in 2 years for you. I love they've kept this time aspect, and because I know season 2 is going to happen now, which I'm happy about. I like that, like, you know, this is our way of keeping up with it, because now they don't have to go, how long have we got till this, how long have we got till that, because we will be informed as an audience through that, through the titles, as long as they stick to dates like this. So as long as, you know, we know now the crucial date is the 15th of the 1st, 48. So as long as it's before that time, and like, we'll be counting down that time as an audience, and I think that's done so well as well. Like, time's really good in this show, and it's one of its strong points, is this emphasis on time, but not actually the character saying, of course, like, you know, important details, but not being like, we've only got 2 days left, we've only got 2 weeks left, or anything like that. It's that kind of reveal that's great. But Phil, like I said, was a champ, because he's like, you guys go, we'll be fine, I'll look after him. And like, Phil's just gonna like stay here and look after him, which he doesn't fully need to do in any case. But as, you know, the other 4-year-olds run up, and, you know, they're like, and because they're obviously scared because of the fire, Mom's like, I've got to go, listen, stay here, you'll be safe, and Phil feels powerless, and you can see that, like, but while Mum is obviously running over there, first of all, my favourite thing about these kind of series is not the big surprises, like the big twists. Like, of course there's great, and I always enjoy those. I always enjoy the little surprises more than anything, because things I don't really think about, and I'm like, oh, Speaking of little surprises, this wasn't a little surprise, this was a panic, and then I couldn't record for like 3 days or so, and now here I am again. Yeah, little surprises though, if I remember I was talking about that, was definitely, when I talk about that, it's mostly like the idea that just like all the little bits of training, like generally I thought all the kids are just playing, and they're not actually playing, they're training, which I just repeated myself about. Great start, Matt, to carry on. It was the rockets, really. The rockets really threw me. I was like, because I remember that scene vividly, like the kids playing with the rockets, I guess they're just playing, but then later on, obviously with the reveal, that was like, wait a minute, those two are playing with the rockets, and then when they start pumping it up and just to use it to like fly over, I was like, yes, this is the stuff I love. I love this kind of, I love these bits here and there, and obviously, you know, just like all the, basically you see where the play time had turned into train time, and just like, even just like them playing with a zip line, and then like, it's like, no, that was actually training so they could zip line off there. I was like, yes, I love this kind of stuff, it's great, it really is. And even just like that conversation between Norman and Ray, and this might be how Norman stays relevant in the story, is how if Norman is like a piece, if Norman's like a bit of Ray's mind or something, but I still personally think Norman's alive. But if they wanted to keep him there, just kind of like as for someone to Ray to communicate with, like when things get dark, you can have like this image of Norman in his head just to kind of talk things through. Maybe not, I don't know. But like I said, I still think Norman's alive, so that's a big maybe. But we kind of start coming to the end, and obviously, like, there was stuff just to buy time for when Isabel could show up again, and obviously, you know, like, that kid being upset, like, that was like, oh, come on, no, what's gonna happen? But that was also a Ray's time to show, like, you know, I'm here to pull my weight too, so he's like, come on, you can cross over with me, we'll be safe that way, and, you know, like, just trying to, like, get everyone back on board. So Emma's just not alone leading the group, Ray's there, backing her up. While Emma's, like, leading, he can be, like, her right hand, and just, like, when she can't do stuff, he can do stuff too, and that's what's gonna be good about that. But man, like, even just the build up to the, like, all the stuff revealed about Isabel is great. Like, obviously, you know, just her, the best way to reveal it was just that way of showing how she got up to the wall. It was different to how anyone else did, because obviously they climbed up the wall with a rope. She swang, like, she had a, like, she swang off a tree with some rope too. Or, like, you know what I mean. No, because, well, could you explain it to me, because I apparently don't know what I mean. Just all, like, that tiny reveal was like, it's the great way to show that there's more to this character than meets the eye, and learn a bit about her backstory too. And when she eventually does come across Emma, that scene's so good, because even just from that exchange of glances, you see that Emma's won. You see it right there, you see the kids are escaping, because just the look on Emma's face, it's so cold, she's just like, she looks at her with no regret, and also, you know, Isabel's just like, please don't go, you know, like, obviously she says don't go, but like, you know, she's very calm and like, she's very calm, and it's the opposite of what has been going on this whole time. Like, you know, the kids have been panicking, and Isabel's been very calm and collected, where now Emma is the one who's calm and collected, and Isabel's panicking because everything's gone wrong. Also, another little touch I liked is the fact that they did burn down the house, and I just thought that was a good plan in any case, but it's also symbolism, because they did something similar in Fullmetal Alchemist, where it's like, you know, burn down your house so you have nowhere to return to. I think that's a great thing. So, like, that is their way of saying, we will not be coming back here, at least for a while, until obviously they have to come rescue Phil, but like, you know, this is our goodbye. We do not plan on returning here. We will not come back and live here, basically, is their way of saying that, and I love that touch. Super nice. And obviously, you know, as Emma ziplines off and says goodbye, that's when it's all done. They finally escaped after all this time, and not only are they done, Isabella's also done as well. She's finished, like, half finished, because Isabel is an interesting character in the sense of she is not just like this villain who's there to be the villain for the sake of it. She's not like, I'll get you kids if it's the last thing I do. That's not her final words to her. The first thing she does is, obviously, as the ropes come untied, she kind of takes a deep breath and she lets down her hair. And I love that, because obviously, you know, pep your hair up for work, you know, work time is over, like, you know, let your hair down. That's the kind of thing. So, like, you know, once her work is over, she can't do anything else. She can't do any more of a job for them. She lets her hair down, and she just kind of takes a moment to herself. And the thing is, I love, obviously, like, that backstory for her. Like, we learn just learn how things went for her, and she is so similar to the kids, because she is the kid who didn't get away. She is what Emma could have been if Emma, like, listened to Isabel and gone, and, like, you know, happened, because Isabel was just the same. You know, Isabel was this kid who actually wanted to kind of explore further into the world, and then obviously she got called back. she had friends and obviously things like that, and that's the tune she sings. Like, she doesn't forget about her past, because even these days she sings that little song, like that she hums that to get the babies to sleep. So she still cherishes those memories, right? But at the same time, we've also got the history. Obviously, you know, she gave in, and we learn bits about the history. So at some point as well, Isabel got pregnant. Okay, that I didn't see coming, but maybe that's part of what it is to become a mother. You have to become pregnant so you could say goodbye to a child and let it go, because that's the kind of thing you have to do without getting attached to them. However, is what I would say, like, that was my idea. I was like, oh, maybe it's because of this, maybe it's because of that, until I'm like 70% sure that Ray is Isabel's son. I'm not 100% on that because of the age he was. Obviously, he sings that little song, she's like, where did you learn that? And then he's like, Mom, why did you give birth to me? And I wasn't sure whether that was coming from, like, a genuine, like, Ray says he remembers everything since he was a fetus. But generally, I don't know whether that comes from something more, like, whether that's just, well, no, not from something more, whether he's just a kid, and he's just a kid being like, you know, before he gets that, you know, he wasn't actually Isabel's son, and, like, if another kid went up to Isabel, why did you give birth to me, because they might just assume that, yes, this is his mom, if this is the only memory he's got of a mom. It could be something like that. And like I've said before, but the thing is, Isabel has two sides of her. there's the side of her that has a job to do, and there's the side of her that genuinely cares about the children. So I loved it when she finally, you know, she couldn't do the job anymore, so all that's left is the mom. So her final words to the kids aren't, "I'll get you, kid, if it's the last thing I do." Her final words to them are, "Please be careful out there. It's dangerous," you know, like, she genuinely does love these children. She does. She wants them to succeed. Like, she wants them, I don't know if she wants them to succeed, but she's complex, so I think she'd be there for the children if need be, but she also has a job, like I said, she has a job to do. Her responsibility is to make sure that she keeps giving children to the farm, and like you said, I like that she wasn't just this one-dimensional character. There was more to her, and the fact is she's alive, so they can do more with her in the future, especially because, like I said, I don't think Norman's dead, and she has to have played a hand in that if it is, but who knows, it's still, it's at its end. Season 1 is, in any case. And even at the very end, you know, I just like how, you know, she goes back to the village, like, not to the village, she goes back to the kids and she watches over them, and Phil, she just tells them they got away. Because she knows at this point, obviously, that Phil, like, she's smart, so she picks up things, and, you know, feels a bit concerned, but there's nothing they can do at this point, and they just accept it. And Isabel's interesting, and I like her, because she's not just, like I said, I'm repeating myself at this point, but I like her because she isn't just this villain. She's also a caring mother. It makes sense that she has connections to these children, and despite the fact she's used to giving these children up, it doesn't mean that she doesn't love them. And it's a kind of warped love, but when, you know, you get rid of the warpedness of her job and everything there, it's just love. And that's what she feels for these kids. And that's just how it ends. The kids get away, they started to run to their new life. They're trying to, obviously, I know season 2's been picked up, and that's it. They're just running, and there's their, you know, the sun rises on their new landscape. Just a big forest, nothing new to say. Like, it leaves it open to a lot of possibilities. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how much time's going to skip between now and when we pick up in season 2. It might just pick up straight away, like a day after. It might pick up a week. It might pick up a couple months after. Who knows how long it's going to be before we actually get back to these characters. And that's The Promised Neverland Season 1. I'm done reviewing it. This is the first series I could say I've actually fully reviewed something. Like, it's all done. Yeah, so Promised Neverland overall. I think it's good. I think it's the kind of series you gotta have patience to watch at times for payoff. So, like, I think I think it's always kind of had good cliffhangers, is the main thing I'd say for it. It's always got a good thing that makes me go, right, I want to watch next week to see what goes on. Despite the fact some of the episodes I feel like are kind of dragged out at times. I like a lot of how things is represented, and, like, you know, just the use of colours, shading, like, you know, just having people do things and what it represents, and I like a lot of that, especially in a series like this, because as we learn, it's not always as it seems, and I can be like, well, this means this and this means that, but it's actually like, no, because this is what's really happening, and those moments where this is what's really happening are what really make these shows what they are, because they are all about brain and mind games, and yeah, it's worth it. But overall, I'd have to say, if someone came up to me and said, Matt, do you think Promised Neverland's a bad series? I'd just have to say this. I'm done with this review. Thank you. Get out of here. I'm sorry if you have to unsubscribe. I fully understand. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you. I guess to say thank you. Goodbye. Thank you.